Hello, everybody. Stars Archer. We're a little bit annoyed. I gotta give you some backstory. Power went out here. Power's currently out, technically, but we have a fancy smanchy Jenny Raider, or a Jenny, as the Englishers would call it, right?
Jenny.
Jenny, right? Call it a Jenny?
Jenny.
Yeah, or a
Nah, not
Jenny.
really.
No, you don't call it a Jenny. Oh, they call
Nope.
it a Jenny. Yeah. Yeah. This is make yourself known. No, introduce yourself for the second time.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is so my name's Oliver or Ollie.
Yeah, mate.
And I don't really know what I am. I met
Based.
this chap on Omegle a few days ago, and yeah, we just started talking about some topics, mostly differences between the great United States of America and the even greater United Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was when he invited me onto the podcast.
Yeah.
And so here we are. I don't know. We did a bit of a segment there on guns and stuff, but I really don't want to repeat myself so quickly. So I think we're going to go into something else before the power went out. That was.
Sorry about that, mate. I'll just do some magic editing to cut that out.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Did you ask a question or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just I heard you go quiet. That was all.
Yeah.
Asking if you're still there.
Just edit it out. I just let the recorder run, so yeah, it was fun. But yeah, we're going to talk about. I think he already said. We talked about what we talked about on Amigo, but we're gonna branch off to that into something kind of informational for our podcast today. Yeah. We have a rather time crunch here, an hour. So let's make this count. Or we could do a part two after I get on my shower if you want to.
Yeah, don't mind, man. I've to be honest, I'm working tomorrow, so an hour is actually fine for me. But if you want to do a part to it as well, then that's fine.
We're going to talk about the differences, that being gun laws, which we already touched on when the power went out. I didn't save, but we touched on it. We'll go back to it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Probably like the main part of this. But how about okay, what's something that's dramatically that you think it's like wrong in American laws or like that's different from American laws that's compared to, your laws? Is there anything that you feel like
Yeah,
different?
so
Yeah.
in terms of different, this is actually a positive.
Okay.
So I've always the United States has always been great for its freedom of speech.
Yes.
Something that in the UK,
Bad,
something that's in the UK that we're actually losing more and more, it seems, every day. And yeah, and again, I touched on this in the gun segment, but again, that's due to the
power outage.
incredible. No, I was gonna. Yeah. Well, the power outage was responsible for the missing segment, but I was gonna say the freedom of speech part is due to the incredible Constitution.
You guys don't have a constitution?
No, we don't, and as a result, that means laws can be filled with grey areas and basically just picked and chosen, as and when suitable, basically.
Just like Christians.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into that because
we already went into that last podcast.
Yeah. If you want to talk about it at some point, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
but,
if you want to brush, if to the viewers out there, if you want to brush up on, some. We talked about religion and that turned into philosophy. So, last episode it says that Christianity that turned into a philosophical turn. That's the episode that you want to listen about me and this dude talk about Christianity, how it's people like to bend it. Go check that out. But yeah. Freedom of speech, is that like in your laws?
So freedom of speech in the UK now, I'm not 100% up on it.
Yeah.
But what the laws basically say is, you've got freedom of expression. You can say this and that and that, and then at one point in the thing it says but.
The but.
The but, the however, that is a big. Yeah, you can say this until we decide that you can't, and that has been unfortunately used for various reasons. I'm happy to provide.
Yeah, provide
some examples. So
good and bad. Good and bad.
So there is a quite a big Scottish YouTuber that your
Mm-hmm.
listeners may very well be aware of. You might be aware of him. His name's Count Dankula.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so he's a massive champion of free speech, and the
Mhm.
reason why is because back in 2016, I believe it was, he uploaded a video to YouTube of his dog doing a Nazi salute,
Oh,
and
whoa.
this got him arrested. The police actually turned up at his door and says, "We're arresting you for gross offence, whatever, blah blah blah."
Mhm.
And he was arrested. Eventually, I think the end outcome was he had to pay a fine of like £800, which is probably just over $1,200. I'm not sure about that, but yeah. But ever since then, he's not paid the fine. He's basically he's been like fighting it till the end. And yeah, I mean, fair play to him for that, because he did not commit any crime. You know, it was a joke, really. I mean, it might not be funny to everyone.
Yeah.
But it is a joke, and I'm sorry, but no one should be arrested for simply saying things.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no matter how offensive they might be, it's it might suck. Yeah, I'm not saying that person doesn't deserve criticism. Of course they do, but they shouldn't be arrested.
Yeah, good point. Also, apparently the British poundage to US dollar is 2,555 USD. Is that right?
Wow.
Look at it right now.
I'm actually gonna just double check that for myself.
Yeah, you can double check that. I may be wording this wrong, but
whoa.
yeah. I mean, was he doing it as a joke? Did he actually mean it? I'm assuming he did it as a joke, but did he do it as a joke?
So
okay, then.
Yeah, of course. So
Okay.
the video, the video itself, it was actually, I believe it was a prank to his girlfriend. He basically, in the video, he says, he sort of gets the dog's attention, and he says, "Gas the Jews," and then the dog puts its paw up like a Nazi salute, and it's honestly quite cute, right? In a dark way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the video, it led to him getting arrested.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd be shocked but not be offended. I kind of laugh a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly, but
yeah, it's silly. Like, what if he meant it? Do you think if he like meant it, which you probably wouldn't? It sounds like a chill dude. But what if he meant it? Do you still think that it was warranted for the police to do that?
I think there's a big difference between so see if there's like someone out there who is actually spreading like white like racist propaganda, that kind of stuff, and like actually like a racially motivated sort of hate group, because you know where that leads to, you know, people organizing attacks and stuff like that. Then I would say the police are probably well within their rights to step in.
All right. See, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I would agree with that, and I think, but yeah, like they really need to consider the context
really
of the words being said, and like, you know, really look at it and say, look, is this guy a threat? He's literally trained his pug how to raise its paw, and that somehow qualifies as you know, racist, and you know, it's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is, you know, if he's a racist, he's the worst racist ever, because he's you know. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, disclaimer: Sarge Darge and all of its icons does not support dogs becoming Nazis. Okay, just a little disclaimer.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you know my freaking icon is a dog, a military dog with some cool pixelated glasses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it. Me too. I love it. I spread it around. Military, more of a police dog than the military, but yeah. Very interesting. Now, probably in America, what would have happened is a lot of people will probably take that as a joke, and maybe a slim to probably a big stance of people would probably be mad at him, probably doxed him.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know. What's worse, getting doxed, or being doxed and spread rumors and becoming a racist, to just the police saying that, hey, we're gonna take you in? What would you take?
I don't think it's a matter of one or the other. I think the second one, that being doxed and having your name spread everywhere, I think that's a result of being arrested. So you know, in the case of Count Dankula, after he was arrested, you know, his name was smeared all over the paper, and he was unable to get jobs. You know, no one would hire him. All the papers were calling him a Nazi, right-wing bigot, buzzword. You know, so, and yeah, people did like attack him in the street and all that. You know, because they read about him in the paper and all that. You know, they're not informed. And
pretty sad what happened with him.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you were to say what's kind of scarier, I would say getting doxxed is scarier because you don't know where that information is going to end up or who it's going to end up in the hands of, you know.
Good point. Just saying that, you know, with America's free speech, I think I should probably brush up on this. I'm going to be a cop, but I think you could say basically anything without threatening, or like without a threat. I'm pretty sure you can say anything as long as if you're not threatening. If you threaten someone, that's too far. But I believe you can say anything you want to.
I think a good example of that though is I don't know if it still happens in America. So so forgive me if I'm wrong with this one. But I remember seeing, I think it was a Louis Theroux documentary, and it was one of the ones where they went to the Westboro Baptist Church, and they were doing the protests at the military funerals. Now, obviously, I believe that the reason why that happens in America is because their free speech laws are so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
Obviously, people aren't happy about it. You know, people that drive by, they'll shout at them, say they're disgusting, which they are. Yeah. Rightfully so. But again, if that was to happen here in Britain, chances are those people would be arrested for gross offence or whatever it's called. So it wouldn't happen. And again, that might sound like a good thing, but that law gets abused. Do you know what I mean? It gets used for lesser things when it really shouldn't. So it's up to, I guess it's up to the listeners really to decide what they want. Personally, I would say Americans have got it better. Yeah. You know, better to have that kind of relaxed approach and you know, having people be accountable. Indeed. Yeah, but so, that's just.
Would you rather pick America's free speech or Britain's free speech? Because they're both kind of useful. America, well, I don't know about America's free speech because you know, you can say anything you want to, even if it's like highly offensive. Versus Britain's, that you can say almost anything you want to, but there's certain type of things that you have to look out for. What would you pick?
Yeah, I would say I would go with America's.
All right, even though you could be called a lot of things, but it's under the free speech.
It's under free speech, and also, you know, you can if we're talking about online instances, which a lot of these instances are. Every online platform nowadays lets you block people, so you know, and surely people aren't going to the police for things they say to them online. I mean, that is just.
Dear, you wouldn't believe what I've been through. No, I mean, no, I'm not with legally, but people would. I was trying to go in a relationship with this girl, and turns out she kind of catfished me. And I told her blankly, "Hey, you did not. What you sent me on those pictures is not you." And the thing is, when we went on a FaceTime call, she had her cousin there, and because like, you know, I wasn't gonna say that in front of her cousin.
Yeah.
So I went in private, you know, I called her privately. She was like, "You didn't show me," and she's like, "What are you talking about? Is that catfish?" She was like, I kept on repeating, "You didn't. What you looked like in that picture is not you right now." And then she just bawled out crying. "I have an eating disability." I was like, "That still doesn't matter." She hung up, and then next thing I know, I could hear her cousin. Well, first her sister called me, saying how insulting me, even though the only 2 words I said was, well, not really 2 words, but only sentence I said, "That was not you in that picture." And she just insulted me all that. But her insults was kind of nonchalant. Like, she wasn't really hyped up or anything. She's just kind of nonchalantly insulted. It was kind of weird. But then the third time, when her cousin started, you know, coming after me, she said, "Well, my dad is like the sheriff." I was like, "You live in the same state as me, right? I know almost every sheriff in this entire state." And I doubt he would do anything just because his little daughter said this dude insulted my, I don't know, cousin. And even then, I was
Yeah.
like, freedom of speech. You can't do anything about it. Cyberbullying is not under this at all. I didn't bully her at all. Yeah, and I am more than welcome to hand over my phone records to them. And it's just,
Hmm.
yeah, cyberbullying. It gets pushed on to an instance almost non-existent. It's like you shouldn't bring up that cyberbully charge unless it's like very serious. Unlike me, they tried to say, "Hey, you tried to cyberbully." It's like I literally said 2 words. I didn't bully her at all.
Yeah. Sorry, you just reminded me of something there.
Yeah, go
So,
on.
I don't know about the rest of the UK, but in Scotland, I've noticed there's an advert or a commercial rather, that sometimes pops up, and it's basically it's quite foreboding actually. It's very it's basically it sounds ridiculous, right? But let me explain it. So it says don't feed the hate monster, right?
Yeah.
And basically what it's saying is, it's targeted at people who say things on social media, saying, "Oh yeah, don't say this." Like in the heat of the moment, if you say this, you'll have the police knocking on your door, and it's like that is really really worrying. Like, I'm not saying you should go on social media and be abusive, homophobic, whatever.
No.
I'm not saying you should do those things, but you shouldn't be arrested for saying those things. Like,
You saying they should defend yourself if someone's coming after you, or?
No, what I'm saying is the police shouldn't interfere for things said online. The amount of money being spent on it in this country is ridiculous. There was a girl this is a few years ago now, but there was a girl down in Liverpool, I believe. She posted rap lyrics on her Instagram, I think it was, in memory of a young boy that died. The rap lyrics had the N-word in it, and the police came to her door, said she was being racist and offensive, and they just totally
arrested
didn't
her?
take. Sorry?
Yeah, they arrested her. Just totally arrested her.
Yeah, they didn't take the context into it or anything. But now she's a young girl with a criminal record, basically, and it's
bad.
Yeah, but there, if you just go to Google, you'll find quite a few examples of that happening. But yeah,
America,
I don't know.
We probably understand because we listen to a lot of rap and stuff. I know where you get it. I'm old soul, man. I've been listening to 50s rock and roll and pop music for the past few days, and I'm vibing.
Wow. I've been listening to I don't know. I've been listening to quite a lot of stuff recently.
Always good to have a wide variety.
Yeah, I'm not really picky, to be honest. I like a lot of different, I like rap, I like country, metal, all kinds of music. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, America, we would have even looked twice at that. Some people sympathize with her, but yeah, America would be so relaxed. Kind of weird.
Yeah, it is strange.
And it's very twisted when it comes to UK. Very twisted. As in, they can bend the rules at some stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem. Really, is that kind of grey area, because the problem is how do you define what's offensive and what's not? You can't, because offense is taken and not given. What I say to you might be very offensive to someone else. So that's why it's the way it is.
Pretty sad.
So in my opinion, you either need to go one way or the other. You either have to arrest everyone for saying anything or you have to just let everyone say what they want, pretty much. And I think it should go the other way. But yeah, it is what it is.
It's really good.
I'm probably making the UK seem like a horrendous place to live. It's really not. It's actually a great country.
Yeah.
If any of your listeners are thinking, "Oh, I want to go to London or I want to go to Scotland or anywhere in the UK," come, you'll enjoy it. It's not like 1940s Germany, like I'm probably making it sound. I'm just talking about a few incidents of free speech being violated.
Yeah.
And but yeah, apart from that, I mean, it is a pretty decent country. So
this is a disclaimer too. There's probably no place in the world that is completely crime-ridden free. America is terrible. Mexico is terrible. Maybe the UK is terrible. I say terrible, but they're flawed. Every country has their flaw. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say
maybe Canada. I don't know. Canada seems pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Canada seems pretty chill. I think in terms of like its gun deaths, it's the gun laws are totally different, and there are still gun deaths, but they're nowhere near as high. Same with the UK. I mean, like I said, we still do get incidents, but they're quite few and far between.
Can't hide it. Can't hide guns. Literally can't.
No, definitely not.
Well, that was a really good topic on freedom of speech. How do you guys handle with protests? How do you handle protests? Like with America, you have to have a peaceful protest, even though a lot of people are yelling. A lot of people like to riot. Yep. Like to say it's under their Second or First Amendment. Peaceful protest. Yeah. But how would you all handle it?
So protests so it's quite interesting actually. So we get quite a lot of recently. There's been quite a lot of anti-monarchy protesters. Now, I kind of want to explain this to your listeners. I feel like a lot of Americans think that every Briton loves the royal family, loves the Queen, the King. It's not that. It's not that way at all. You do get people that are royalists that really do care about the royal family. You also get a bunch of people that think they're outdated and really have no place in society. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't really. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of them, but I don't have a problem with them. But yeah, we obviously when the Queen passed away, you had the King's coronation. You had there's been a lot of sort of royal events recently, and nearly every one of them there's been protests at them. People holding up placards or "Not my King," shouting things.
Okay, that's good. I support that.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. But again, going back to the freedom of speech part briefly, there was a guy that shouted something at a royalist protest, and I think he was dragged off by the police. I can't remember what he said. I'm trying to find the story so I can give a bit more information.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your time.
Yeah, so this was it? So this was an article from CNN, May this year, something out of a police state. Anti-monarchy protesters arrested ahead of King Charles' coronation. So yeah, you had like people wearing T-shirts saying "Not my King." They were booing. They were, that kind of thing. Abolish the monarchy, that type of thing. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think as long as it is a peaceful protest and it's not like people throwing bricks and being violent and that, then that's absolutely fine. I think the police probably have been handling some of them wrong, though, as I say, them getting... I don't know what the punishment these people will get is, but they do get dragged off, some of them, to, presumably put in the back of a police car or something. Yeah. But yeah, I imagine it's probably much the same, though. Really, I don't doubt there's protesters in America that have been hauled off, or I'm not sure, but
I'm pretty sure there's like thousands of those because in America there's never a peaceful protest. It's sad. I've always wanted to like go to a protest, but like when I see it on TV, it makes me not want to go because I'm afraid I'm gonna get punched in the face in a peaceful protest. I mean, I get it. They want to make their their meaning come through. But there's a good way and there's a bad way. And in their eyes, the bad way is a good way because it represents, I'm this serious about this. I'm this serious. I'm going to punch through a freaking wall or something. I'm that serious about this cause. But in my opinion, doing it peacefully is even equally, empowering,
Yeah. Sorry, another example I just got reminded of there. So there's a group called Just Stop Oil. Now, I don't know if
I've heard of it. I made a YouTube video on it. Not a good YouTube video, but I made one.
Yeah, I'll check it out afterwards.
I don't recommend checking that out. That's a pretty bad video. That's a pretty bad video.
Yeah. But yeah, they're kind of making repeated headlines here.
Yes, going their hands and throwing a oil-based product on an oil painting.
Yeah, there was that one. The one that I always remember. So there was this happened last year. So there was it was a football game, soccer, between, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, one of the protesters ran out onto the pitch and he cable tied his neck, I think it was, to one of the goalposts.
Whoa.
And obviously that stopped the game. And if you know anything about us British soccer fans or football fans, you know, we do not take kindly to people disrupting the game, you know. So people were going crazy. There was fans trying to get on the pitch so they could get this guy. The security had to step in, and there was a guy with like cutters and stuff to try and basically get him out and get him off the pitch as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Before it turned into a riot, because it would have done. But yeah, there was one during the Snooker World Championships as well. I think someone ran onto one of the tables and started like, I don't know what it was. It looked like colourful flour. It was like a very dusty, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are. This has got nothing to do with oil. This is purely to do with getting their message, getting their name out there.
That's a wrong way to do it, guys. That's a wrong way to do it.
Yeah, they're making their thing. They're making themselves incredibly unlikable.
Yes, indeed.
There's got to be another way to do it that doesn't make everyone hate you, I would say. But yeah, that's just my thing.
Yeah.
My view.
That was a good view. That's a good view. It kind of reminds me when you say soccer and football, and I think I know the connection between the two. If the game gets disrupted or something bad happens in the game, you both get, you know, American football lovers will get pissed when the game gets disrupted or like something bad happens. Even if they feel like something like, you know, fishy happened with the referees, they get pissed. So I can see there are correlations between the two.
Yeah, I mean,
only correlation.
People like to make out that, you know, like I mean, I know American football and soccer are two vastly different sports.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to say which one's better. Football, obviously. No, but yeah, no, the fans, you know, they share the same passion for the game, and as you said, you know, they do not like interruptions or dodgy referee decisions. That's something that's common across all sports really, where there's a referee.
Indeed.
So, but yeah, there is a lot of that same passion, even though the games are totally different.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's move on to something we already talked about before, and people really want to know about this freedom-loving gun control. The reason why I didn't come out the gate with this is because, you know, we talked about it, and, you know, it'd be kind of tiring to talk about it again, back to back.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, let's pray to gosh that power doesn't cut out because of the Jenny. We'll put in a new tank. We'll go talk about guns. Where do you want to start this?
Yeah, so again, I just want to sort of reaffirm my position on America's gun laws. I was saying earlier, I don't think there's really I don't have a problem with them, like in terms of the Second Amendment.
Yes.
It's always been a big part of America's culture, always will be. And I think I would say probably 99% of gun owners in America, legal gun owners, are responsible people. I would say having a gun for, you know, for fun, for just for your own use or for self-defense, home protection rather, is okay. And yeah, that's fine. And I don't even have a problem with people having like AR-15s and stuff, you know. Again, if you're a responsible gun owner and you know what you're doing, that's fine. But where I do have a problem is the you know, when it comes to people with mental health issues getting hold of guns. I did mention earlier. Yeah, just sort of bad people. There's almost always some kind of, you know, mental health issue or I'm trying to think of a recent example. You
can take your time. You can look it up. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a recent example, but
example.
I'll think of a famous one. So Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook shooting. He was said to be, you know, disturbed, quiet. You know, he had locked himself away from his parents and all that, and he had Asperger's, which again, I'm not saying that's a cause. I know plenty of people have Asperger's syndrome. Members of my family have it, in fact. So, but it's these kind of mental health issues that can lead to the depression, the anxiety, if not treated properly. And these are the last people that should be allowed to own guns, especially, the guns that he had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that, Bushmaster XM15? The guy literally, he shot his mother, and then he went on to the school and shot, what was it, 27 at the school.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned earlier on before we got cut off.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was in America or if it was some other country, but they were talking actually about scanning, like checking people's social media accounts.
Oh, you said it was your country, I think.
Yeah, I think it was here actually, and I've seen it. I don't know if it's going to be like a definitive measure, but it's actually quite a forward-thinking idea. Indeed. Because everyone is on social media nowadays. So, and especially some of these shooters, they write like manifestos, and there's always stuff that sort of comes out about them afterwards. So if we can try and have a look at their online profile and then see like, well, this guy's clearly got something wrong with him, I don't know. I feel like it's a good idea, though.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to touch on the you mentioned Asperger's and stuff, and there's a lot of people that would support autism. I am on the spectrum, not high on it, but I am on it, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Professionally diagnosed. Okay, people, don't accuse me of saying I'm self-diagnosed. I don't like that crap. But yeah. A lot of people protest that. Autistic people are really, really smart. But I digress. I have a brother, adopted, who is high on the spectrum. He is at his own home and everything. I would hear him and my mom argue over showers, literal showers. And they would argue. Half the time it would come physical. Mostly on him, but my dad was really good at calming him down and stuff. My other brother did it amazingly, but my dad, he had his thing. But he never would really fight. Half the time he'd back off because, and I'd always hear him, oh, I'm gonna get a gun and shoot him or shoot that, and that's him, thinking clearly, probably in full of rage. That's an autistic person. He owns a gun. He's gonna threaten people with it. He threatens people's lives every day without even meaning it half the time. He probably does in his eyes, but he probably, if he does the action, he probably didn't really mean it. So, people with disabilities and autism and stuff like that, that really impairs yourself. You can't really defend it to an extent. Like in my situation, I am fully cognitive and everything. Unlike my brother, I love him to death. He's a good guy. He has his times. And in my situation where I have it, but not to the extent that I can't control it, I would probably be really good with guns. I have like 4 guns in here, right? I treat them with respect. I always assume that they're loaded. I always point them in a good direction, man. Yeah. I love gun safety. I love it so much I want to become a cop, all right? That's probably not the main reason why I want to be a cop, but, I want to be a cop. And, one of the parts of being a cop, there's always a gun in the situation. No matter if it's a dispute, no matter if some crazy hobo, you're the one who has the gun. You need to know how to treat it like it's a tool and not as a toy, So,
exactly.
Go on. You about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say though. I mean, it's great, having that knowledge of treating it as if it's loaded. And that's even though I'm from a country, I've never handled a real gun before. But even as a kid, I had like sort of airsoft guns and that, which are and although they probably can't kill you, they can definitely hurt you. You could lose an eye potentially. So you still have to have the same level of precaution.
Respect. I call it respect. Yeah,
respect. Yeah, sort of finger off the trigger. Or don't point at anything you don't intend to damage or kill if it's a real gun.
Yes.
So I think that's a great. Way to go about it, but some people don't have that respect for it. They just to them it's just a toy, and you've the amount of videos I've seen of people that have never been around guns and they wildly throw them around and
flag people. Like taking your girlfriend off to a range. I know how to shoot. Turns to you, instantly flags you. Flagging meaning you pointing the gun at someone half the time with the finger on the trigger. Without even noticing.
Thank God. I thought you said something else there. I thought you said black people.
No. Whoa. What? What do you do? I need to. Whoa.
I misheard you there. So sorry.
I sure hope so. Because we support everyone here. Don't mind if you're red, yellow, black, yellow, tan, red. No.
People, let me just sort of clarify there. Irresponsible gun owners, they're not exclusive to race. They, anyone can be irresponsible with a gun. So yeah,
even a dog.
Even a dog. Yep. Although that's more down to the person that puts the gun
in the dog's hand.
Yeah. Yep. But I was going to say something there, but I forgot what it was. So if you want to.
All right.
Back up,
Teaching. We talk about the stuff, how the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But how does one, learn to do it right? In this case, how does one learn how to become a responsible gun owner? Even though through all your life in America, supposedly in America, you get taught all this stuff in school, but never how to responsibly hold a gun. That I think the school is kind of nodding off to the parents, say, hey, maybe you should take care of that. But why can't the school do it?
I don't know really. It's that's just quite an interesting point, really.
School is made for learning.
From a UK point of view, obviously, gun ownership is never something that gets brought up. Well, obviously, we would learn about stuff like that in history or in modern studies, it's called over here. I don't know, probably have a different name for it in the States.
Sciences, history and geography.
Yeah, so social sciences is probably, that's probably the name for it. But no, in terms of actually having someone come in and say, right, guys, this is a 9mm pistol. We're going to show you how to use it, how to be safe with it. That would never happen here. I don't know. Does that happen in America at all?
I remember back mid 2000s or something. This is really outdated sources because it's been a while since I ever watched it. They actually did it on a Sheriff Youth Academy, but there's this guy called Eddie the Eagle, and the thing that the main three things that he preached was stop, don't touch, run away, and tell a grown up. Technically 4, but my American culture, what's the word? Not culture, teaching skills, American academics likes to forget a number 2. But yeah, is run, don't touch, tell a grown up or something like that. And do you think that's a good thing? Because in my opinion, I don't think it's a good thing. I mean,
so hold on.
I'm kind of conflicted at it now because I don't want a kid to grab a gun and say, "Hey, mom, I found this on the floor. Here you go." It'd be kind of scary, seeing that. But I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted because I want the kid to understand that's a gun, but I don't want them to be afraid of it. Because
sorry. So, are you talking about? So, for example, if a kid was to come across a gun lying there somewhere. You're saying they should stop and go tell a grown-up before they handle it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but the way that Eddie the Eagle talked about it is to be scared of a gun. You don't want to be scared of the gun, almost. Yeah.
I wouldn't say I don't think it's about being scared. I think what he's probably trying to say is kids are not responsible enough to hold guns, and a kid picking up a gun without knowing what it is and or without knowing what it can do, they probably should leave it and then let the parents sit them down and say, this is what it is, this is what it can do. Someday you'll probably use one and you'll be taught you'll be taught how to use it responsibly. It's the same with alcohol as well. And cigarettes and stuff. It's like if a kid found some alcohol and it would be they might drink it out of curiosity. Probably wouldn't do them any immediate harm.
Yes.
To be honest, when I was a kid, I drank. Just to see what it tasted. It was beer, right?
Yeah.
And it tasted horrible, and I never went near it again. And it was actually my dad that sat me down and explained. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's beer. It doesn't really taste good. It gets you drunk." He explained what being drunk was.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I actually don't mind beer. If I'm having a meal or something, or if I'm out with some friends, I might have a beer. Or or several. But more on that later.
You're of age, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm of age. Yeah,
Good,
I'm 22, so
Thank
I'm
God.
well past the legal drinking age.
Dude.
But yeah, it's sorry. This is a side note, but did you say Eddie the Eagle?
Yes, I think his name was Eddie the Eagle. I'm pretty sure
Right.
it was Eddie the Eagle.
That's quite funny because there's actually a very famous British skier called Eddie the Eagle. So that's quite funny. If you look up Eddie the Eagle, if I look him up, that's the first thing that'll come up usually.
First, we stole the loading mechanism of the freaking Rambo gun from the Germans. Now we're stealing names from the English people. When does it stop? You probably don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, go back on that. The gun thing you mentioned there. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the gun thing. Yeah. I was in the Sheriff Youth Academy, and they showed pictures of the little kids with Eddie the Eagle, and the way that he came about it was kind of weird. But we already talked about that. Do you think that they should teach gun safety in like preschool? I think they should teach gun safety when the kids are cognitive enough, like 10 to 11, maybe 5.
Yeah. I think. I don't know. I think 5 might be too young. I think. So between sort of 10. So I don't know. So when did you? Can you remember roughly when you learned about sex ed?
I learned it on my computer, home alone. Yeah, that's like half of our sex ed here. We don't really have. I mean, we do have it, but half of us teenagers learns it on our own, and half of us really did not know how to regulate it. I regulated it within 3 years of having an addiction. I finally got it regulated. So they're really trying to push that stuff on kids, the sex ed stuff, because it does get out there and personal.
So we'll come back to that. But I'm using the example of sex ed because I learned. I think we learned about it in primary school when we were probably about 11 or 12, possibly.
Very young.
Yeah. It is quite young, but it's not. You learn about the basics. You learn about reproduction, what a condom is, and then when you get to high school, early high school, when you're probably about 14, maybe you do like a more in-depth version. That's how I learned it. You learn about the sort of do's and don'ts. I think by that age, you could probably sit someone down and teach someone how to use a gun. Okay. It's the same with alcohol and drugs. We learn about alcohol and drugs at that age. So I think by that age, you've got a child that's willing to. But really, a lot of that stuff needs to come from the parents as well as at school, because the parents need to sit, because children will listen more to their parents than teachers.
I believe that, because they hate school.
Say. Yeah, they hate school, but they might not hate living at home. But then again, if you've got a kid with a difficult home life, maybe they will turn to the school. So it's like it's more. It's like you've got to figure out who's the best person to say.
Yeah. And we will say something. When it comes to like home stuff, I've experienced. I don't know, most based on movies and stuff. But when I hear people talk about the parents, they don't really look up to them, and I don't think there's like a. I don't know. This is kind of weird, because I know there's some cool parents out there who the kids will actually look up to them, but I hear a lot of kids, teenagers my age, who just don't like their parents because they do this, and I don't know how they live it there, but it's kind of hard teaching them something if they're like a teenager versus teaching them while they were young, because when they're young, your parent might have said something bad to you, but 5 minutes later you'd be saying, "I love you, Mom. What are we having for dinner?" So I think teaching them at a young age how to, if you're a good responsible parent, your child should probably love you no matter what. And parenting. Parenting is a different topic for a different episode.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
definitely sensitive topic. But if you're a good parent, you know that you're a good parent. Teach your kid probably like, I don't know, at any age how how to safely have sex. Well, sex should be up or on the age limit. Be like like they would in school, but mostly on the guns, because half the time you're American, you're gonna have a gun laying around. You gotta teach them about it. Even at like 5 years old or 6, tell them that, hey, don't touch this, don't do anything with this. When you're older, I could probably tell you what it does, but right now, just don't touch. You know?
Yeah, it's like when you're a kid, you know, you learn about like stranger danger and that kind of thing. So I think having a sort of brief, I mean, see when you're a kid and you're learning about stranger danger, for example, they don't go into detail. They don't say, "Oh, this stranger's going to abduct you because they're." You know, I'm not going to go there because that's it. They don't say that. They just say,
"Don't."
It's a bad man, or it's a bad woman, or whatever. And then obviously later on in life, when you get to the kind of early teens, you figure that stuff out for yourself. It's about kind of when you're a kid, everything
seems innocent.
Told. Yeah, everything's innocent, so you have to kind of exaggerate it. You can't give a kid loads of information and say, you just have to say, gun, dangerous, don't touch. It's like when they say, don't touch the stove, you'll burn your hand.
Yes. No, don't touch the stove, and then you want to touch the stove because you want to know what it does.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I think with guns it is different though. I mean, you can keep a gun fairly out of reach. If,
And it's kind of hard because, like, if you tell them what it does, you have to explain death to them. That's kind of a harsh thing. Tell a kid.
It's quite a difficult thing to explain, and even it's something I've never really had to think. I'm actually kind of glad we're having this conversation because I've never thought so much about this before. So it is quite great, and it's actually great to hear someone who's an American struggling to come up with a way around it. So that's
see, this is the podcast. This is what I wanted this podcast to be: challenging questions to both sides. I probably explain this stuff terribly, but you're doing an amazing job over here. I wish you were the main guy for this podcast.
Cheers, man.
But this podcast is about growing on. The Flowerbed podcast. We plant a topic in and watch it grow through bad, through worse, through good and light. Watch it grow, and hopefully it becomes something good that y'all will remember. Sorry for the preach. You can continue.
No, not at all, man. I can't remember. I think I'm actually done there. So I don't know if you want to something else.
It's really sensitive topic when it comes to guns, because guns, they do a lot. They change a lot. And telling a kid something like that, it's like explaining to the kid that you're gonna die someday. That broke me, and I was like, what, 12, 13 when I learned about philosophy. When I was fearing death at around 12 to 13. That's why I went to philosophy, and that kind of helped me a little bit. It really made me open my mind.
Yeah.
If I didn't want to go into philosophy, this podcast will probably had one episode, and that's it. Literally, because my mind would be so shut, closed off, not even worry about anything else. Just go game. I'd probably be on freaking World of Warships right now, game, if I didn't open myself to philosophy.
Yeah, definitely, man.
It was really good episode. Gun part 2. I think that's like probably going to be the highlight of this episode. I kind of didn't want to do that straight off the bat because we were talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, gun safety is really changes someone's life. So
yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? We got like 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure, man. I don't know really. I was sorry?
Something upbeat?
Upbeat. I don't know. Trying to think of something. Okay, let's go. Modern. So, let's talk about some films. Like recent sort of films. So, what films have you seen any sort of new films recently? I'm mainly thinking. So, obviously, you got Oppenheimer, and of course the Barbie film. I've not seen either of them.
It's kind of weird because Barbie here is kind of split. My dad does not like to watch it at all, but when he hears like my nephew, he was a dude who's going to watch it, he was like, all right. He's kind of like about it. I don't know. Barbie kind of split.
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch movies. Only movies I watch is Pacific Rim, and I love that movie to death. Because of my autism, I don't branch out a lot. I really don't. I don't like branching out a lot. I only have like a set of TV shows I watch, and even if it's something else I watch, it would be like something that I relate to that I like a lot. Like law enforcement, I watch police. I watch cops all the time. I watch Law and Order SVU all the time. Something I'm really passionate about. But I wouldn't just go willy-nilly watch a TV show. Thank God I did watch Breaking Bad because I love that.
Yeah, I've never seen Breaking Bad actually.
Really
I
good,
don't.
mate. Really good.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV shows now. I used to watch. I remember when The Walking Dead first came out.
Ooh, I loved it.
I watched like the first few episodes, and I did really like it.
Well,
And then I can't remember. I think I just kind of stopped watching it.
pretty sure I got.
Um,
I watched The Walking Dead in like 12, 13. Only thing I had was paranoia from it.
yeah,
I died paranoia from that show. It's really
I
weird.
love zombies. Like,
Me
I
too.
mean,
I
like
love it so much.
horror is. I've always loved horror.
I have two favorite horror movies, and the only movies I'd
mm,
probably watch would be horror: Blair Witch original and
mhm.
Skinamarink. You ever heard of Skinamarink?
No, how do you spell it? Sorry.
Skinamarink. I don't know where you know how to say it. Spell it.
It's all right. I'll
Just
find it.
probably just put it through Google. I think it's kind of like a silent film. It's
Oh, Skinamarink. Yeah, there we go.
yeah, it's really split. There's a love hate beside on both of it. Well, I love
Yeah.
it so much because your mind can race to so much things. Just thinking about it makes me creeped out. It's just you can't really take in that much information. There's not that much information to give out. There's a lot of pans from like a dark wall. There's a lot of
Mhm.
dark atmosphere. It's just so scary to me because it makes your mind race. You know, it makes you
Yeah.
think. Americans, we don't think
Mhm.
that much. We really don't think that much.
Yeah.
So that's why it's probably like a love-hate relationship because there's a bunch of people who love it, there's a bunch of people who hate it.
Yeah.
When I watched it with my sister, she hated it. I loved it. You know,
Mhm.
bad.
I was actually. I just wanted to like share a sort of funny incident that happened to me online recently. So
Yeah.
I was on a film. I was on Facebook, I think, and someone we were discussing the film Midsummer, which I'm really not a fan of it, to be honest. I think it's pretty pretentious. I think that's the word that kind of sums it up best for me. But anyway, so someone replied to me. I'll just read you the comment. So it said, another person from the UK talking about how bad American movie is. You're in the UK, just watch what's made for your country. Now,
No.
I think that's probably the single dumbest take I've ever heard from anyone about anything. Like, it's not made for. I mean, the film's set. The Midsummer's. I believe it's Swedish.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is an American-made film, but it doesn't mean to say that other people can't. It's not a super complex film or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's not like because I'm from the UK, I can't understand it. It's just I just don't like it because it's quite a long and, like I said, somewhat pretentious film. And it's got that brilliant or that false female empowerment nonsense in it. I don't know if you've seen the film. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but yeah, it's something that I'm starting to get kind of annoyed with in a lot of films nowadays. But
it's like the saying, you haven't gone through that, so you can't talk about it, right? That's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah, it's such an arrogant. Yeah.
I hate it when people say that, but at times they do have points. But probably a quarter of the time, they really do not need to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that mindset is quite arrogant because it's like I get it to an extent. It's like if someone's a victim of a crime and it's like say they were I'll use a less graphic example. Say they were mugged, right?
Yes.
And someone's like, "Oh yeah, sorry man, that must be awful." Like, you don't know how I feel. You've never been mugged. I was like, yeah, you're right. I've not been mugged.
Yeah.
But I imagine I've got the brain capacity to know that it must be horrendous. Do you know what I mean?
In your hypothetical situation, you handled it. That's actually a pretty good crap. In your situation, I'm trying to put words together. It's not going so well.
Sorry, take your time, man. Take your time.
In your hypothetical situation, the way he reacted will probably be pretty realistic. But there is other parts where people the opposite would say like, "Hey, why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you do this?" And that would be a perfect situation where you say, "Well, you aren't me," because there's this thing that they taught me in the academy called they call it spaghetti hands, right? where all your adrenaline rushes everywhere, and like you can't really feel your fingers. That's why you see in horror movies where the girl start jingling her keychain. Like you hear a freaking 70-year-old man, why can't you just put it in the freaking ignition and go? It's because all that adrenaline is up in her. It's just all through her body,
Yeah.
and it feels like her fingers are marshmallows. She can't really like do very fine-tuned tasks and stuff. And it's like you're not there. You don't feel it. Maybe you could have handled it differently. I doubt it, but you know, that's like that certain situation. If someone's being mean to you about like a sensitive topic, you can probably fight back and say, "Hey, you weren't there. You weren't there."
Yeah. Of course, yeah, and to use that, I mean, that's a great example. You're saying about the stereotypical character in a film. You know, they can't get their car keys in the ignition.
And that's probably like pretty accurate. That's probably the most accurate thing ever.
You know, people
everywhere. Yeah.
People handle different
situations.
Some people are better under pressure than others. You know, I mean, it's easy with the benefit of hindsight. But if we use an example, say someone was chasing you back to your house, and you had literally seconds to get the key in and turn it and then get in and lock the door. Your mind is just going full fight or flight mode.
Yes. Adrenaline rushing everywhere. Your body's fast and everything's going so quickly.
Yeah, but some people would have that ability to like
to breathe,
close it out, and just
like me.
Yeah.
When we did Know Something Else for shooting and stuff, I would take a deep breath and I'd hit like what 90% of my shots, and I was pretty good under pressure. But unlike these people, they can't really do it. Also, sorry for cutting you off there.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. But yeah, I don't really know what I was going to say when I brought up films. I guess it was just a sort of as you say, a more light-hearted kind of take. You know, if you have seen anything, what do you think of them? That kind of thing.
Yeah. I branched off to something really quick.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the I just want to again go with this. One of the best films I watched recently was actually called Sisu. And it's I believe it's a Norwegian word. Now it's I'll just go over the plot briefly. It's about a Norwegian prospector. So he's digging for gold, and I think it's Lapland or something. But his a Nazi patrol. He comes across a Nazi patrol. They steal his gold. And basically
it's Sisu.
Sisu, yeah, or Sisu. I don't know how you say it. Yeah.
The reason why I know is because they made a little thing, because there's a dog in there. I don't know if it's in there constantly, but there's a dog in there. And one of the captions was, "Don't worry, the dog lives." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this so much."
Yeah, it's so good though, and what I really love about it is it's not a Hollywood film. It's actually, it's
I really want to watch it. I really want to.
It's really good. You should definitely go check it out.
I love World War stuff like that. I love that. Love that certain type of movies.
Yeah, the thing I would say is if you're going into it expecting a realistic, grounded war movie,
no,
go watch another film. You're not going to get that. It's ridiculous. It's over the top, but it is very fun. It's very entertaining. And I mean, the guy that plays Sisu, whatever, I don't know who the guy's name. Yeah, but he's brilliant in it. And it is actually based on a real life soldier.
That's why I think I read up something like that.
Yeah.
Sadly, I gotta end it here, but we had a good time. I bet we had a good time. Talk about a lot of things.
I just want to say, obviously to your listeners, this is my first time on anything like this, a podcast or anything. So, and none of this was rehearsed. There was no notes. I did Google a couple of things here and there, but it was very off the cuff. So, apologies if I stuttered or went on a bit of a tangent at any point.
They watch Sarge Darge. You hear a lot of stuttering with me. Half the times I'm here saying so and like
Yep.
Yeah. Very raw.
Yeah.
So you did amazing. You did better than me. Did way better than me.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. But I definitely. I'd love to come back. As long as your as long as your listeners are okay with that.
I don't care. Screw what they think.
Yeah.
Screw what they think. But we did a really good job. I really don't have any idea what to name this episode. Do you want to name it? You can name it.
I don't know. Just sort of pick the kind of main topics and just make sure they're in the title and. Yeah, it's like I say, man, it's your show. Just name it what you think.
I don't want to be just mainly my show. That's why I really wanted this with 2 or 3 more main people. But now I'm just over here interviewing people with all their opinions and stuff, which is actually really cool. Something I probably never.
You name this one. I'll try and think of one for
next episode. Yeah,
like another one. Yeah. We'll do that.
Absolutely. I'll definitely bring you back on. You're a very interesting person.
Cheers, mate.
Well, we're brushing over the 1 hour mark with 30 seconds ahead. This is Sarge Search here signing off. Oliver, you wanna do a outro yourself? Make it snazzy.
Yeah. Again, thanks guys for listening to me ramble on for better part of an hour.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly shill myself here. I do have a Twitch channel.
Yeah,
I'm not on it very often, so please, if you're expecting me to be on it next week talking or doing anything like that, you will be disappointed. But if you want to check it out, that would be amazing.
Really dashing. I'll make sure to put it in Discord, and then I can put it in the description of the video of the Spotify thing. I think I'll put it on YouTube too.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in Discord, and I'm also my Discord is if anyone does want to just add in chat or play a game or something, then I'm always open to that. So
very nice.
Yeah, that's all.
All right, we'll go do something I haven't really done before, but I always want to do this. When I say 1, 2, 3, we're gonna say vibe on. Oh no, wait. Yeah, make sure to vibe on. All right. There's a little thing I say. Make sure people have a relaxing time. All right. 1, 2. Wait, no, make sure to vibe on 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Make sure to vibe on. Oh man.